This video will show a simplified method of cutting slanted rings, plus show 10 different design options, of which these two bowls represent two completed ones. The bowls I made in the slanted bowl video with the maple and the purple heart had 24 segments, all cut at a 35-degree angle. I had a lot of difficulty gluing them together and keeping them uniform. I got good joints, but sometimes the ring was a little bit oblong. So I was trying to come up with a way to make better rings more consistently so that they would be round and so everything would line up. And this is what I came up with. This ring is 12 segments of maple with basically a 1/4-inch piece of purple heart cut at the same angle, but it's only 30 degrees instead of 35. So a little bit less angle, but now there's less angled cuts to try to keep steady. There's a couple of advantages of this. One is you get more pieces of purple heart, so I've got 12 instead of 8. The other is this width stays consistent, whereas this one, the bigger the rings got, the bigger the wedge of purple heart got. So the last bowl I made was 35-degree saw angle and 24 segments. To make the rings easier to glue up, I'm going with 12 segments, and I reduced the angle to 30 degrees. I'll cut a few segments to demonstrate. So this is the method for making the pieces that'll go in for the purple heart. This stop block is set for 0.36 inches, and I'm going to cut 24 of these, 12 per ring. So the miter saw is set at 30 degrees. It's the same angle that I used on the table saw. So now it is in essence a 24 segment ring. And however, there's only 12 of the angled joints to slip and slide. So it seems to be much more stable on glue up. I'm using the same glue up method that I did before. Okay, it's ready. It's a good fit. It's ready for glue up. Well, the new cutting process resulted in better rings that line up better, which allows for a lot more design possibilities. I'm just blown away by all the different designs you can come up with using these same rings. So basically, as I cut, I made one identical ring as I went up, so 2 identical rings. So these are all the same except for the direction of the slant. And this is one of the possibilities. I'm going to rattle through a total of 10 different design possibilities using all these same rings. So this is one, basically the typical tornado type bowl with no steps. So that's one possibility. I'm just going to change this one because that one would be the same. So the other possibility that has complete staggering of the rings and doesn't require perfect alignment is that one, which is pretty much what I made on the last bowl. So those are a couple of possibilities, but especially if you don't get rings that align real well, this is a possible solution. So I'm going to show that same arrangement I had in the beginning where it was the tornado type bowl. So that's close. So that's a possibility, and now you don't require perfect alignment. If it's slightly off, that ring in the middle will buffer that. But it also breaks up the design and makes it look a little different. So that's another possibility. And of course, the fourth one then would be that same arrangement that we had without the rings with the rings. So those are all possibilities with all of the slants going in the same direction. But we're not limited to that because I can alternate rings. I'm just going to use the same size rings just to make it easy. So these two bowls turned out pretty good, even though the rings weren't perfect. You also have options beyond these orientation options of changing the angle, the color, the number of segments. So the possibilities are almost endless.